I got to tell you, this church, you guys are happening. That's all I can say. I go to many churches all around the country, and the love and the support, everything is just so great here. So great. So thank you, thank you. You can turn me down just a little bit. I'm a little echoey here. So my religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. And these days, I'm having to practice quite a lot. And I love that she said this, because this is exactly what I was going to talk about today, about the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama said, this is my religion. There is no need for examples, no need for complicated philosophy. Our own brain, our own hearts, that's the temple. And my philosophy is kindness. And Ernest Holmes said, it is natural for us to expect the miracle of love to perform its act of kindness every day. So kindness, before I get into the bigger, loftier things, it really comes down to, that's why I started with today I choose. It's a choice that we make every day of how we're going to be. And I truly believe that it starts with the moment you wake up, how your day is going to be, because we get to choose that. And so when you think about it, well, let me ask you a question. When you opened up your little eyes this morning, did you open your eyes and go, it's a new day? And did you sashay into the bathroom? And did you look at yourself in the mirror and go, oh my God, did you get more beautiful overnight? What is the deal here? Did you do that? Did you look at your body and go, oh my God, this magnificent thing of perfection? Did you do that? Oh, he's going, yes, I did. I'll take classes from you. Or did you go, oh my God, everything's dropping? And so here's the thing. I learned a long time ago how important that moment is, and how whatever you think first in the day is what will be the foundation for your day. And So I have a thing about music, obviously. I think that when you start your day with great music, that can be your little earworm that's happening all day long. But I was at a hotel years ago, and I learned this lesson so deeply because the alarm clock radio woke me up at 7 o'clock, and here's Linda Ronstadt singing to me, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good, baby, you're no good. And then she goes, I'm gonna say it again, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good. So what do you think I'm feeling and hearing? I call it the low hum. You're just hearing this all day long going, you're no good. You're no good. Anything I try and do, you're really not any good. So I really believe that we have to switch that. We have to choose a different thought. We have to, turn that around and go, I'm so good. It's, something like that. But just think about, what messages, what affirmations can you say to yourself every morning that starts you off in this path of love for yourself? Love for yourself. Because if you can't love yourself, if you can't be compassionate with yourself or empathetic with yourself or give yourself a break, you're not going to do that out there, are you? That person who cuts you off in traffic, anything that happens like that, you just can get ugh. So to me, it really starts with that place. And I learned a long time ago, I told this to and once again, I want to just thank all the women who came yesterday. We had a great time. These are, y'all have fabulous women in this church, let me tell you. But I learned a long time ago a little practice, because I'm going to talk about different practices we could do today, because I think in these wacky doodle times, we need as many things that can bring us back to center. Because it's we kind of go off a little bit, and then you just have to bring yourself back and off and back. And so what I do every morning is I put my hand over my heart. I say, what does my heart have to say to me today? What does my heart have to say? And I think when you do that, when you first allow yourself to have whatever organically comes up, and to just, I want you all to do something. Put your hands on your cheek and go, good morning. Good morning, little one. Just give yourself a little hug. You're doing great. You're doing the best you can. If you have an inner critic going, this is really stupid. You're not going to do this. She's really stupid. You just go back off. You just do a little back off to your critic, because your critic is always there to just jump in and go, oh, this is stupid. Don't do this. But anything you can do that brings you to that place of compassion for yourself. One of my most popular little chants that I've written years ago, I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself, and I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. My favorite one of the lyrics is, I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself, and I will love myself like a newborn baby child. I mean, so the next time that inner critic comes up, you go, no, back off. I will be gentle, and you sing that to yourself. Whatever you can do to just keep yourself, coming back to that place of love for yourself. And I truly, truly believe that when we do come from that place, we can open up our hearts, we can open up our minds to just be present enough to see what's going on with other people. Instead of just being in your own little world, you could just look at what's going on and say, where can I help? What can I do? And I have a story that I heard about. The author Stephen Covey was on a subway in New York. And he was on the subway and he's sitting there, and all of a sudden on the next stop, this man came in with his 2 children. And all of a sudden the little kids, were just running around the train and causing all this disruption, and everyone's getting very irritated, and they all kind of keep looking at Stephen like, say something to the guy and tell these kids to shut up, And, everyone's getting kind of tense because these kids are being raucous and loud and just obnoxious. And finally, Stephen turns to the guy and says, I'm sorry to say this to you, but gosh, is there anything you can do with your kids? I mean, they're really obviously disturbing everybody. And the man lifts his head and goes, oh, I'm so sorry. We just came from the hospital where we lost their mother, my wife. And, they don't know how to process death. And this is how they're doing it. I'm so sorry. And of course, in that moment, what do you think happens? His heart bursts open. Oh, I'm so sorry. What can I do for you? How can I help you? And that's what happens. We don't always take the time to know what's going on with people. When you're standing in the line at Starbucks, you have no idea what's going on with the person behind you or in front of you. You might say, hey, how you doing today? And they're going to go, oh, I'm fine. You have no idea that they could have just gotten a cancer diagnosis, or someone died in their life, or they're having financial issues. We have no idea. So just why not greet everybody with that act of kindness, with that empathy, with that love? So I don't think I have time to do this, but I'm going to give you I want to give you homework, okay? Because what I would usually like to do at this time is I have everyone take out their cell phone. Oh, actually do it anyway, who cares? Take out your cell phones. Let's do it. So we go 2 minutes over. I'm sorry, I'll make it up to you. So take out your cell phone. I want you to turn it on, and I want you to think about someone in your life that might need a little boost of kindness. Maybe it's someone, your family, maybe it's your husband, your wife, your spouse, your whatever it is, maybe a coworker, and just text them right now. And just say, just thinking about you. Just a little love bump. And if you don't have your cell phone, go home today, call them, or write them, or send an email, or whatever it is that you want to do. But just the idea of doing one act of kindness every day, it's totally selfish because it makes you feel good. And I truly believe that these acts of kindness are a little bit like lifting weights, that the more you do it, the easier it gets. But when you first do it, you feel kind of awkward. But do it. Just send it right now. Send it. Why not? Because I really believe that what we need right now in our world is just truly acts of kindness. And I love this. I'm going to give you a few examples of things. There was a teacher who wrote to all the kids, to the parents of all the kids in her kindergarten class. And she said, if your family is experiencing difficulty at home, I would like to provide additional support at school. I understand that you're not always able to share details, and that's okay. But if your child is coming home, if your child is coming to school after a difficult night or a morning or a weekend, I want you to just text me and say, handle with care. Handle with care. Nothing else will be said or asked, but that will just let me know that your child might need a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra love. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like I could be walking around with a sign these days saying, handle with care, please. I'm a little vulnerable in the world. And it always cracks me up. I travel a lot, and it used to be that, you'd be sitting there waiting for your plane, and you kind of might talk to the person next to you. But everybody now is in their cell phones, and they're, no one looks at each other. And I love this, that I found this. In the not too distant future, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook will merge to form one giant, idiotic, supersized, time-wasting, non-productive, time-stealing, mind-numbing, do-not-need-to-know website called YouTwitFace. But I love it, I'll get on a plane, and the person will be coming to sit next to me, and I'll go, hi, how are you? And you see this look of panic, oh my God, you might be a talker. If I say hello to you, you're gonna talk to me the whole flight. And I always want to say to them, I'm just saying hello, okay? Get over it. But fast little story, I was on a Southwest flight recently, and I was in the coveted A position. Now, they don't even do this anymore now, I found out this last weekend. But at that point, I was in the A position. I was right in front, and I saw this situation happen, that this man was bringing his elderly mother to the gate, and I could feel like maybe she had dementia or something was happening. He was just kind of guiding her there, and it looked like he was just going to drop her off with the flight attendant. And I've been in this situation. I know what it's like to take care of elderly parents, and my heart just because I was present, because I said to myself that day, my word for today is presence. I was present. I could see the situation. Everybody else is in their cell phones, but I was watching this, and I see him pass her off, and I see him walk away, and he keeps doing this. He keeps looking back to make sure she's okay. And somehow he must have felt my energy, because we locked eyes, and I went, I got it. I'll watch out for her. And you could see him just kind of go, oh, thank you. So we take our flight, and we're now at our destination, and we walk up. I always want to call it a gangplank, the jetway thing. We walk up the jetway, and I see her standing at the top of the jetway, looking very confused, like, what am I supposed to do? And obviously, whoever's meeting her can't come in. So I come up to her, and I go, hi there, my name is Karen, and I'll take you to whoever is picking you up. And she looked at me, and she goes, oh, Karen, you look fabulous. Have you lost weight? I went, yeah, thanks for noticing. So anyway, I take her and I walk her to the gate, and I see the same thing happening on this end, where it looked like the brother was there, and he's kind of doing this, like waiting for her, and I kind of pass her off, and she's like, oh, Harry, this is Karen. She's going to be spending the weekend with us. I'm like, no, it's okay. But I realized in that moment, that made my heart open. That made my heart open to say, because I ask myself almost every day, what is mine to do today? Well, in that moment, that was mine to do. And am I telling you this story to go, oh, what a lovely person you are, Karen? No. I'm telling you because it's a selfish act, because it makes you feel better. It makes you feel better. And I truly believe that these days, it's all about our light, shining our light to each other, giving ourselves that permission to be helpful, to be kind, to just simply allow your heart to be out there. So I have a few slides. Can we get those going? I brought a few slides because one of my practices these days in reading the news and watching the news is it makes me crazy. And I have to balance it with happy, positive stories. So let me just give you a few. Here's a picture of a fence that has all these coats. There was a man I think it was in the Midwest, and it was freezing. And he was seeing children go to school like in these little, not very heavy coats. And he decided he was going to do, this is all anonymously, he started to put these coats on the fence near the school. And every day, these coats people would come and go, can I take this? And there would always be someone there to say, yeah, you're allowed to take these coats. And these kids, everybody would keep taking the coats. And every night, he'd come back like at 12 o'clock at night and put more coats on the fence for these children. And what's remarkable is then when he died, when he passed away, all of a sudden the coats stopped being there. And they found out that it was this man, because he'd been going to thrift stores and any place he could get coats for cheap. He was using all of his disability money to make these coats, to buy these coats for these kids. So next slide. in Denmark, they started this thing because loneliness is one of our biggest stressors and biggest problems in our world these days of how disconnected we are. And this is a supermarket that decided to start a slow checkout line for people who want to just talk to the clerk. And so everybody who gets in that line knows that you're going to get in conversations with the person behind you and back of you. It might take you 45 minutes to get your groceries, but you're going to walk out happier. And I'll tell you something, they have 200 of these now around the country. It's become so popular that people now, the lines are getting longer and longer because people just want to talk to each other. Okay, next slide. This is a restaurant that has this thing where people just buy their lunch, but then they'll just buy another lunch, stick the receipt up there, and if you can't afford your lunch, you just go, and well, you can see if you're hungry and have no money, these meals have already been paid for you. Just go, give the server the ticket, and there's your meal right there. And here's another one. So there was this marathon, and this woman was out in front, set to win by a landslide. She was already getting, and at the very end, she noticed this other runner who couldn't get his water. He was having a hard time getting his water. She looped back, helped him get water, wound up coming in second, and everyone kept, all the reporters came up and said, you were in first place. Why did you do that? It was obvious that you could have won so easily. And she said, because this is what I do. This is who we are. It was more important that this man had water because I could see he needed water. You know, what's more important, winning or that feeling that you've made a difference? And here's another one. Now, this is what I want to get into, and I think she mentioned this in her reading, that the idea that kindness does not have to be big. It can be small. Look at this. This is a random act of kindness, a $1 bill stuck in a vending machine. You know, that's small. And then the last slide, and this is what I want to bring home to you, is truly, you know, today you could be standing next to someone who's having a hard time. Give them a smile. You know, and even your barista who's giving you your Starbucks, you know, take that moment to say, hey, how you doing today? Instead of just going, oh, thank you. Take that moment to just say, how you doing? And I'm not talking about that woo-woo kind of looking deep in their eyes and going, wow, the meanness in me sees the you-ness in you, and we're bonded, and I love you. And they're going, ew, who are you? That you just take that moment to connect, to be kind. So I'm going to leave you with one last little story, is that I want to make this point because I think it's really important. To be kind, you know, again, there are those big acts of kindness, but then there's also those small things. And sometimes the smallest thing, you have no idea why you're being called to do something, to give a compliment or, you know, write to a friend today, text them or something. And it's vulnerable to do this because you might not always be well received. They might not get you. I remember I was in line at Starbucks and I wanted to pay for the lady next to me, you know, buy her coffee. And she looked at me and went, why would you do that? And I went, well, it's kind of what I like to do. You know, would you accept it? And she goes, well, you know, give it to someone who needs it. I don't need it. And I went, well, you know, I really would love to do this for you. And then, you know, and then finally she goes, okay, whatever. And, you know, she lets me buy her coffee. And now we're standing next to the thing going, oh, God. And then I'm going, why did I do this? Why did I do this? And then finally she looks at me and she goes, so is this one of those pay it forward kind of things that I have to do? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. But the story I want to leave you with is there was a man having lunch just by himself, and this woman came to sit in the booth right next to him. And she was an elderly lady, and her hair was all coiffed, and she was wearing a little blue, you know, pantsuit with a carnation, and she just looked really adorable. And he just noticed her, and he was about to get up and say something to her, but then all of a sudden her family came, and the grandkids and everybody. And so, you know, he let it go. And he then ate his lunch, and he was about to leave, and he walked by the table, and all of a sudden he just felt this urge. He felt this little tap on his shoulder saying, go back. he was like, oh, then he's wrestling with himself, like, I don't want to do it. That's embarrassing. But he just said, okay, whatever. So he goes up to the table. He goes, excuse me, I hate to interrupt your little gathering here. But he looked at the lady and he said, I just have to tell you that outfit is beautiful and it brings out the blue in your eyes and you just look really beautiful today. And she goes, oh, thank you. And he was just kind of embarrassed. He goes, that's all I want to say. And she goes, oh, no, don't go away. She said, I know you. And he goes, oh, no, we've never met. I just wanted to tell you that. And she goes, I know you because we are here celebrating the 1-year anniversary of my husband passing. And what you said is exactly what he would have said to me. So don't give up those moments. You never know when those moments are going to be there. So let me just end with this little thing. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. Let me teach that to you. Sing it with me. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be well. May I be peaceful. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. Now, if you feel comfortable, say to someone, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be well, peaceful. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. Now put your hands up and give it to all of us. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be well, peaceful. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. Now put your hands over your heart. Give it to yourself one more time. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. So this week, do one thing that's kind to yourself, one thing that's kind to someone else, one thing that's kind to the world, to your community. Be kind. Thank you for listening.